I want to thank you very much for coming out this evening at the Miller Branch Library, part of the Jersey City Free Public Library. We are the Community Awareness Series of the Jersey City Free Public Library, and we present programs such as the tribute to Paul Robeson. We've been doing this particular tribute for the last close to 4 decades, and then paying tribute to a great man, one of the, you want to call superstars of not only the arts, but as a freedom fighter. Robeson made a tremendous impact on our society, and we try to keep that spirit, you know, the memory of Robeson and what he accomplished during his lifetime. So we have a wonderful program today. We have Mr. Kenneth Carter, who will be coming up doing a very special tribute to Robeson. And then following that, we'll be setting up for the Leo Johnson Quartet, and that's going to be some great jazz music. Also, April is Jazz Appreciation Month, so this is very appropriate, and we called it a 2-in-1 concert celebrating the life and times of Paul Robeson, as well as to celebrate Jazz Appreciation Month. So Mr. Kenneth Carter was here in January when we celebrated Martin Luther King birthday. And this was just this past January, and he was with the North Jersey Philharmonic Glee Club, which he's a member of. And I'm sure some of you were here during that performance, and it was a tremendous group, tremendous energy. And Mr. Carter, we got into a real good conversation, and I spoke to him about the Robeson program, and he said, he's up for it, and he would look forward to doing this this evening. So, also want to mention that Mr. Carter was also the 2004 recipient of the Crystal Award from the International Society of Poets. So, with that, also he'll be accompanied by Mr. Fields, fantastic pianist. And with that, let me introduce you to Mr. Kenneth Carter.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening.
Let me see if I can get my technology working. How's that? That better? I just want to again thank you for coming out. I want to first take the time out to share with you my accompanist, Mr. Philip Field. Mr. Field is the musical director for the North Jersey Philharmonic Glee Club, a 75-and-a-half-year-old African-American men's singing organization.
Amen.
He sang at the White House and other places around the world during that time. And this gentleman on Carnegie Hall stage at 8 playing the piano. So you see who I have with me here. I'm blessed to have him here. Give him a hand, please. Paul Robeson is my idol because of the spirit that he displayed wherever he went. Born in Princeton in 1998 and went to Rutgers, where he
1898.
I'm sorry?
1998.
I'm sorry, 1890, my bad. No, I'm a year ahead. 1898, you're right. But when he joined Rutgers, he was the first African-American to become a member of the football team. But before he could get off the ground as an athlete in that sport, his teammates broke his thumbs on the field while he was in practice, and he was not able to use his hands for a while, but he went on to be a double letter man. He put Rutgers State University on the map, and New Jersey, by the way, on the map back there in the early 1900s. He later went on to Columbia University to get his degree in law. However, he was not able to practice law because while he did well as a researcher in law and shot through the ball, what's the law? What's the exam? The bar exam. The bar exam. Shot right through it. But the firm that he was working with said, listen, you cannot go in front of a judge and plead a case. You can do the research in the back room, but you can't get in front of a judge, although you're an attorney, because you are, they call us then Negroes, right? He was a black man, African, couldn't do it. So he decided to go on and pursue his career in singing and acting. But everywhere he went, he never forgot his people. The Jim Crow experiences that we were going through at that time, the hangings, the lynchings, the inequality in education and economics. He always spoke of his people, even when he went to Russia and lived. He remembered us every time he did a concert, he took out the time to remember and lament about our condition here, because he never stopped fighting for his people. Even when they took his passport later for 10 years, he was not able to make money, and even some of the African American churches wouldn't even let him come and sing. He never stopped fighting for his people. And so that's why he's my idol today. And so I want to sing a few songs in his memory. He made the African American Negro spiritual famous, but not just that, but folk songs, not just in African American communities, but Irish communities, Wales and Europe, all over the world, Russia. He sang about the plight and the injustice that those peoples were suffering. And he did it with courage and dignity. And he never stopped. So we're going to share with you a few of those songs tonight. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, by and by, I'm gonna lay down this heavy load. Oh, by and by, heavy load. Oh, my robe's gonna fit me well. I'm gonna lay down this heavy load. I tried it on at the gates of hell. I'm gonna lay down this heavy load. Oh, by and by. Bright and fair, I'm gonna lay down this heavy load. Gonna take to my wings and cleave the air. I'm gonna lay down this heavy load. Oh, by and by, I'm gonna lay down this heavy load. Oh, by and by, I'm gonna lay down this heavy load.
takes us all back, don't they?
Oh, yeah.
I was born in a place called Fayetteville, North Carolina. And I lived there until I was 10 years old, and then later migrated first to Wilmington, Delaware, and then later to New Brunswick, and then finally to Newark, New Jersey by the time I was 12. And actually matriculated grade school and middle school and high school in Newark. And I said to myself, you know, I'm not ever going to go back to Fayetteville, North Carolina, the place of my birth, and live. And I still maintain that. And many friends say, why? I said, well, because down on Person Street, in the center of Fayetteville, North Carolina, is the market house where they sold the slaves. It's still there. Now, it's been blown up a couple of times now. Don't make no mistake. But it was rebuilt, and it seems to be some kind of a shrine. So clearly you can understand why I won't be going back to Fayetteville to stay.
Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. A long ways from home. A long ways from home. Sometimes I feel like I'm almost gone. Sometimes I feel like I'm almost gone. Sometimes I feel like I'm almost gone. A long ways from home. A long ways from home. Call my brother. A long ways from home. A long ways from home.
Thank you. You know, the old Negro spiritual was a tool for the slave in America. This African who was brought over and put into slavery purely for economic reasons, yes? There were a lot of reasons why the slave master justified it in his mind, but he knew full well that we were all human, yes?
Yes.
But you know, when you do bad things, you're trying to, you know, justify it in your mind, right? So you can rationalize it, and it makes more sense. But it was all about economics, and so it's, well, you're not really a human. You just maybe 2/3, maybe. And all of the various and sundry poems that were meted out on these, many of them kings and queens and princesses that were brought over to make money, 256 years of it. But that African spiritual was one of the tools we used to imbue in us the strength necessary to move forward and keep on going. Huh? And here we are. And we're not done yet. Yes?
I've got a home in the dead rock, don't you see? I've got a home in a dead rock, don't you I thought I heard my Savior cry. You got a home in a rock, don't you see? Old man Lazarus, poor as I, don't you see? Old man Lazarus, poor as I, don't you see? Old man Lazarus, poor as I, when he died he found a home on high. He had a home in a rock, don't you see? Rich man died, he lived so well, don't you see? Rich man died, he lived so well, don't you see? Rich man died, he lived so well. When he died, he found a home in hell. He had no home in a rock, don't you see? God gave no other rainbow sign, don't you see? God gave no other rainbow sign, don't you see? God gave no other rainbow sign, no more water but fire next time. You better get a home in a rock, don't you see? You better get a home in a rock, don't you see?
So many stories, and yet today, diaries of slaves gone by are still being discovered. But we know this: we are only one species, and it doesn't matter what color you are. That same energy permeates all of us. Yes?
Yeah.
It's our thinking that's the challenge. Yes? That's the challenge. So we gotta get there.
Steal away, steal away, steal away to Jesus. Steal away home. I ain't got long to stay here. My Lord, He calls me by the thunder. The trumpet sounds within my soul. I ain't got long to stay here. Steal away, steal away, steal away to Jesus. Steal away home. I ain't got long to stay here. I ain't got long to stay here. Thank you.
Paul Robeson sang in at least 17 languages, maybe more. And all of those various languages that he sang in, he inculcated him in the culture of those peoples and all of the challenges that they were facing. And he, more than anyone else, set the example of the oneness of the species that I spoke about. Because while we have different experiences in our lives, we are still one species. Multiple hues, all colors, one energy. Yes? One energy. And incidentally, the oldest human species, the oldest fossils, the oldest remains was of an African woman. And so all of you here today are my brothers and sisters. Yes? That's who we are. We're family. We just don't know it yet.
I met my brother the other day. I gave him my right hand. And just as soon as ever I turned my back, he scandalized my name. And you call that brother? No, no. You call that brother? No, no. You call that brother? No, no. Scandalized my name. Well, I met my sister the other day. I gave her my right hand. And just as soon as ever I turned my back, she scandalized my name. And you call that sister? No, no. You call that sister? No, no. You call that sister? No, no. Scandalized my name. Well, I met my preacher the other day. I gave him my right hand. And just as soon as ever I turned my back, he too scandalized my name. And you call that religion? No, no. You call that religion? No, no. You call that religion? No, no. Scandalized my name. Thank you. Are you, some of you anyway, beginning to take that trip down memory lane? Let me see your hands. Are you recognizing any of these tunes? Yes. Oh yes. I remember my mother singing many of these as she cleaned the house on a Saturday morning. She got us up about 6:30 in the morning on Saturday and had us clean as well. Wash the floor, wash the windows, if you want to go outside and play. Okay? Where are those gone by years, parents, when we instilled discipline and hard work in our children? We are climbing Jacob's ladder. We are climbing Jacob's ladder. We are climbing Jacob's ladder. We're soldiers of the cross. Every rung goes higher and higher. Every rung goes higher and higher. Every rung goes higher and soldiers of the cross. Rise and shine and give God glory. Rise and shine and give God glory. Rise and shine and give God glory. We're soldiers of the cross. We are climbing Jacob's ladder. We are climbing Jacob's ladder. We are climbing Jacob's ladder. We're soldiers of the cross. We're soldiers of the cross. You're so much. Okay. Water break. Are you enjoying yourself? Yeah. Would you give the awesome Mr. Phillip Fields just one more hand? Thank you so much. Water boy, where are you hiding? If you don't come, I'm going to tell your daddy. There ain't no hammer that's on this mountain that rings like mine, boy, that rings like mine. Gonna bust this rock, boy, from here to Macon, all the way to the jail, boy. All the way to the jail. Water boy, where are you hiding? If you don't come, I'm gonna tell your daddy. Water boy. No more auction block for me. No more, no more, no more auction block for me. Many thousand gone. No more peck of corn for me. No more, no more, no more peck of corn for me. Many thousand gone. No more driver's lash for me. No more, no more, no more driver's lash for me. Many thousand gone.
Thank you.
There is a balm in Gilead to make the wounded whole. There is a balm in Gilead to heal the sin-sick soul. Sometimes I feel so weary and think my work's in vain, and in the Holy Spirit revives my soul again. There is a balm in Gilead to make the wounded whole. There is a balm in Gilead to heal the sin-sick soul. If you can preach like Peter, if you can pray like Paul, go home and tell your neighbors he died to save us all. There is a balm in Gilead to make the wounded whole. There is a balm in Gilead to heal the sin-sick soul. To heal the sin-sick soul. Thank you.
As I look at this poster of Paul Robeson, the great Paul Robeson, I imagine he was playing a role, perhaps Emperor Jones, being on the stage as an African-American actor in the 30s and the 40s. And down in Mississippi, his brothers and sisters are being hanged. Nor could he go, by the way, to the restaurant next door to the theater. A lot has changed. Much still remains the same. We're all in this together. All of us. Every one of us. And it's really incumbent upon us to stand up as he did. To say something. To do something. Or say and do something. Because Frederick Douglass said, power can seize nothing without a demand. And it never will. Until you rebel with words or blows or both, things will remain the same. It's a terrible thing for the righteous man who knows he should act, but does not.
Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. I looked over Yarden and And what did I see coming for to carry me home? A band of angels coming after me, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Thank you. I so love the spirit that is imbued in these songs and the messages are tended there too, because you can see now, all of us, how this energy through the words and the spirit moved the people forward, huh? Moved us forward. You may bury me in the east, you may bury me in the west, but I'll hear the trumpet sounding in that morning, my Lord. How I long to go, for to hear that trumpet sounding in that morning, in that dreadful getting up day, we'll take wings and fly away. For to hear that trumpet sounding in that morning, my Lord, how I long to go, for to hear that trumpet sounding in that morning, my Lord, how I long to go, for to hear that trumpet sounding in that morning. Thank you. I want to take out the time now to recognize and thank the Miller Street Library, Brother on the corner Turner, I just met him, and Brother David Daoud, because they are doing something and have been doing something obviously for decades that are bringing a sense of community into this space. A sense of love and camaraderie, notwithstanding where we came from. But when we come in these doors, we are one. Yes? We recognize our oneness, that species that I talked about, that oneness, that one energy. And so I want to thank you for continuing this legacy and for recognizing our dear brother, Paul Robeson. Thank you again. Mr. Philip Field, would you please give him a hand? Mr. Philip Field. Mr. Philip Field.